All right, I'd like to show you something pretty cool that's going on right now. Um, this is a map of 15712, 15712 Peach Orchard Road, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20905. This area here is around 11 acres. It was built, I think started in the 1930s at some point, early 1930s. This tabernacle here was built 1938, and here's a retreat center that has motel rooms for people that could rent them and run retreats. It's been in operation since the 1930s to I think 2008 or so, pretty regularly. They did camps there for kids and other things, but as of 2008, I think it began to become less and less used. There are around 50 cabins. All these right here, these gray cabins that have states on them, they're cabins that were built, and they were owned, individually owned by people, but the property was owned by the Free Methodist Church. Anyway, so it's not being used really in any specific way. And as of the last few months, God has put it on the hearts of some of the people involved who are involved in this property, either on the board members and some of the others who are connected to this property, to create a prayer mobilization center out of this property where it would be dedicated to prayer and fasting. And so there's an exploratory process going on right now of how it will be used. And here is one of the visions that is being proposed, which I think is pretty amazing. So since I told you before, there's around 50 cabins. One of the goals is to make each cabin represent a state in the United States. 50 cabins, 50 states. And these will be like a prayer house for that state. Now, many of these houses are in disrepair. And the significance of that is many of our states are in disrepair. The families, the churches, our institutions are in disrepair. And so it kind of rightly reflects the spiritual state of many of the states of the United States. And the goal is to actually repair them. And one of the goals is to bring ministries and pastors and churches all together in unity to pray for our nation, to cover the nation in prayer. And so the desire would be that ministries and churches that God has put on their heart for their state would come and own one of these houses. Really, they'll take ownership of it. They'll put the prayer points on it in the house. They'll address what are the things that need to be healed by God, what is going on that's good, and there'll be a map in the house of how much of the state is being covered in prayer. So it's reflective of also the ministry of Streets of Prayer, which I'll get into a second. But so think of it like this. You come here, it'll be like you're walking the United States with the tabernacle in the center. So you start here and you kind of just walk along, and each state is added as it was entered into the Union. For example, so here's DC, but then you have Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and these are the order that it was added into the Union. And then the tabernacle will be in the middle. And so as you prayer walk these streets, you're prayer walking each state of the United States. And then we'll have these other places like here and here and some other structures. I think this might be one here that would be dedicated to the nations. And so the goal is to pray really specifically for the United States, but also for the nations. And it'll become like a mini version of Streets of Prayer. And the desire is that as people come here, there'll be prayer 24/7, prayer and fasting, that people will get a heart to pray for their communities and states. And they'll go back to their state and neighborhood and pray that place. And so it goes nicely with the Streets of Prayer vision, because here we have, let's see if I can get back to the mouse. We come here, and this is Streets of Prayer. Let me clear all of that off. So here's the map of And so let's say you're, so I'm in Maryland right here. So I'm going to click here. And so this is actually the area on the map where the retreat center is, or the campground on, and the desire is to cover every part of our cities and state in red. And so here are all the different prayer routes that are in Maryland. And so we would have in each house a map of how much of their state and cities are covered in red. And so so when you come there, we would encourage you to get the app and claim an area for Jesus. And one of the ways you would do that is you hit the plus sign, and then let's say you wanted to, let's see, I'm going to zoom in a little more. Let's say you want to surround this place and right here. By prayer walking it. Let's say save. So there it is. And then you claim that piece of land for yourself. So, and every time you walk it, you say you log the walk. And then the bright red ones are the ones where it's been walked that week. So see, the last walk was 4 days ago here. And then, so in conjunction with the two, we're prayer walking this model of the United States that's 11 acres, and it reflects the whole United States, which will be in collaboration with the Streets of Prayer map. So I just want to ask you to consider this vision, be praying into it. Come and join us at Streets of Prayer. Go to streetsofprayer.org. You can start prayer walk in your neighborhood now and just claim a focus area, claim 7 people that you want to pray for until they come to know Jesus. And then eventually, when this model starts getting built and God starts bringing clarity to it, you can come and visit Maryland, and it's right in between DC and Baltimore. So look, let's take a look at it. So as I said, this is where it's at. This right here, this little dot. So here's Baltimore. Here's where the retreat center is, or the new prayer mobilization center. It was a retreat center. And here's Washington. And two very prominent cities in the United States. So come out when we start solidifying the vision. Come out, visit, go to your state and the house that represents your state, and take ownership of that place. So just wanted to share this with you. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for good things to come. God bless you.